We know the 49ers don't draft offensive linemen early. They do like to take them late. So today, let's get to the last pick of the 49ers draft class, Enrique Cruz Jr. Can they do it again? We'll take a deep dive into the film and find out on today's Gold Standard podcast presented by Prize Picks. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard podcast. I am Rob Stats Guerrera. That man is Johnny Dale from the Johnny Dale Football Academy YouTube channel. Johnny, we finally have gotten to the end of the 49ers rookie draft class today with Enrique Cruz.
Yes, nobody is probably more excited about that than me. It has been a lot of film to work through, but personally, it's been a growth journey for me as well, learning a little bit more about positions and nuance and things. You know, you always just there's different layers to learn, and some of these guys, it was forcing myself to learn even more than I have, and watching just an exorbitant amount of film, and so it was a growth process for me, and hopefully, it's been a growth process for everybody who's been watching.
It definitely has for me. I've certainly appreciated it. And as the notorious GAV points out, we're finishing this just in time because rookie minicamp starts in 9 days.
Man, it is. I will say these shows have helped the offseason pass so much faster for me. It seems like there was always just so much dead time, and you're looking for so much dead space. And now it's like trying to fill space that isn't talking about Brandon Ayuk and every video he's putting out every week. And should the 49ers cut him or not? I think we've talked ad nauseum all of us have talked about that ad nauseum. So it's good to get a refresher. And remember that we have some rookies that are showing up soon that the 49ers drafted that have a lot of upside and are going to be the future of this team, or should be the future of the team. Will they or won't they? We'll see why they could and why they couldn't. That's what this series has been all about, and it's been fun.
Well, today we're doing Enrique Cruz, who has some raw ability. As I was doing some prep for this show, I was listening to Chris Foerster, I think it was last month or maybe a couple months ago, and he was asked specifically about Enrique Cruz, and his kind of talking point was Enrique Cruz has the ability and has done everything that you want to see a solid starting offensive lineman do in the NFL in terms of movement, in terms of blocking, in terms of all that stuff. The problem is it's not consistent. So like he's shown he has the ability, but he to this point hasn't put it all together yet. You know, it's not there, and it's certainly not there down in and down out. Is that what you saw in the film? You kind of made a face when I was saying that, so I'm assuming you didn't see that on the film.
I think that's a generous coach speak take. There is a lot of truth in there. There's also some misleading things in there. So yes, he has the movement skills you want from the 49ers offensive lineman. Incredible athlete. He's got some incredible raw power. He's got really quick feet. So from the lower body half and strength and things like that, understanding of different schemes, he's got a lot of that, and he has shown flashes of those. I will say when he says, you know, it's about consistency, and I will say I did not see really any of NFL quality hand movement, hand placement, keeping the hands inside the frame. We'll get into a lot of clips of those, but from a technical side, he is incredibly deficient to almost an alarming point, because he's such a good athlete. We have to bear in mind, this guy probably has some of the highest measurables of any offensive lineman coming out of this draft. He's in the 76th percentile of wingspan, not arm length. He's in the lower, so he's got a really wide chest and shoulders. But he's got a really wide wingspan. It means it's really hard to get around him from just a distance standpoint. His 40-yard dash was in the 96th percentile among offensive linemen, 75th percentile 10-yard split. His vertical is unreal for an offensive lineman at 313 pounds, 35-inch vertical leap. 99th percentile. His broad jump was almost 10 feet at 98th percentile. So he's got incredible raw athletic traits. The burst in the hips show up on tape. The first step explosiveness shows up on the tape. His quick feet show up on tape. But he consistently struggles to tie these things together. So that means poor blocking in space. It means grabbing outside the frame almost every single rep. If I was to put on a montage of reps of him in pass pro, just grabbing outside the frame and opening up his chest, which at the NFL level, guys will absolutely eat up. We could sit here for probably 2 hours of just his pass pro reps. I could put on almost every pass pro rep and just let it play. And that's what's going to happen. And those are huge red flags to me, because I don't see that as something that's going to be developed away in 1 year or even maybe 2 years, especially when you have fewer padded practices. This is a major project for Chris Foerster. Like I see borderline practice squad player is what I see, at least from college, from his college shape, but he's got huge upside from the physical traits. But this is a steep mountain to climb for him to get the technical side right.
Now, look, we're not talking about a first round pick here. So, it's worth, I could see the 49ers saying, hey, let's take a flyer on this because the physical traits are so crazy. I remember when the Panthers drafted Cam Newton and they asked Jim Harbaugh about it, and he called him raw grade plutonium is what he called Cam Newton. And that kind of makes me wonder if maybe that's what the 49ers see, a ball of clay that maybe could be something, but we have a long, long way to go. And before we dive into the film, I just want to remind everybody we are presented by Prize Picks. If you haven't gone and downloaded it yet, what are you waiting for? It's America's #1 destination for daily fantasy lineups. You can see my lineup on the screen. Yes, it's the same as yesterday because they haven't played the games yet. So that's why it's the same. In case you're wondering, you can follow me at Stats on Fire if you so choose. It's easy. You just pick more or less on your favorite player stats. And if you get your picks right, you win money. How can you not like that? And you can make World Cup picks. You could make Major League Baseball picks. You could make picks on any possible sporting event you can imagine and things outside of sports as well. So see if Prize Picks is available in your area. And if you download the app and you use the promo code on our screen, HMA, you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So go have some fun. Download the app. Use the promo code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, the time has come. Enrique Cruz. For everyone that says we just glaze everybody here on the channel, sounds like this is not going to be one of those shows.
Most of it won't. Now, the beginning, we're going to start out with what is the positive and the upsides. He can be good in the run game when he's not asked to block in too much space. The problem is 49ers with their wide zone scheme oftentimes ask guys to block in space, but you can see the potential that is here. Again, when you have a guy that's got borderline elite athletic traits and he's drafted in the 5th round and people said that was still a reach, that just tells you how far the technical side has to develop. And we'll see that. But when he get on the move, you can see explosive first step, and he's a people mover. I mean, he will just move guys out. The raw power is there. He's going to kick this out. And you see him just move guys almost effortlessly, just moves them 3 yards out of the ball. Now, this is also a smaller school. This is something I saw at times against these smaller schools. He looked borderline dominant in some of these run plays. Other times he looked not so great, but you're going to see him get a down block on the defensive tackle. Watch him move the defensive tackle. Moves the guy 3 yards down the line. That's what excites them about him, is his ability to move people to get up here on the second level and just one arm the linebacker over. Crazy strength and power, and that first step explosiveness to get down the line and then finish the blocks. Like he's a physical guy. He fits the type that we've seen as far as I love the hustle. This is where the huge difference between him and Jaden Duggar. Again, one arm underneath the defensive tackle's pads and just moves him down the line. But Jaden Duggar was a lot of jogging. This guy was just sprinting everywhere, just running. Love that. He was always the first offensive lineman down the field. So those are things that you really, really like. And you say, okay, this guy can get out there and move, and he can move quickly and move people. I like that. Okay. Here he is on the edge, moving, finishing blocks. Cool. See him here. Get here, move, and then get the second level and wash the linebacker down. When he's in position and gets his hands on guys, man, he can move guys, and he's a nasty blocker, and it looks good. Here you can see him just widen that edge and open a huge hole for his running back. This was against Fresno State, I believe, was this one. And this is very much how he looked against them. He's going to widen this edge. This is one of his best reps that he had here. Just get the guy, pick him up, and shove him out. Raw physical skills and giftings there. And that's where a lot of my praise stops. Because even his best clips leave things to be concerned about. Now, here he is. He's going to pull. And when he connects on these pulls, now this was probably the only one I saw where he really connected. It's devastating. He comes in here and just pancakes this dude. I mean, that's nasty. So like when I hear Foerster say that, I go, okay, yes, I saw that once when he pulled. I saw him pull 10 times. This is what I saw most of the time, or all the other 9 times when he pulled, which was he really struggled blocking in space.
Yeah, that was, he barely even made contact with that guy.
He kind of made a hip on him. I mean, he got in the way. I'll give him credit there. This is what I saw more than anything. He's going to pull and lead out here. And
whoa, dude.
And his guy is the one who makes the tackle. Again, this is what I saw in the other 8 times he pulled. Like, just struggles blocking in space. And some of it is he runs too upright. He's not able to sink his center of gravity as he's running. Like, I mean, he's just running upright. He's not able to sink and track and mirror. It's just.
Was he confused at which guy he was like? Did he change his mind on who he wanted to block? That was really, he ended up blocking nobody.
Right. That's what I saw most of the time. It's just, I mean, guys would be there and he would just whiff. Here he's trying to block on the edge, and you just see he has a hard time adjusting when guys are moving around. And that is something in space shows up over and over and over and over again. He really struggles with space, like just has a hard time with it. Okay. I'm trying to,
it's really weird for someone that's so athletic to struggle when they have a chance to use that athletic ability.
Yeah, that was the real dichotomy with this kid. I was sitting there watching him going, okay, like, and it's why I had to dive into a little bit more about individual technique on some stuff with this kid, because I was like, it just doesn't make sense to me. He's got incredibly quick feet, but he seems like he can't mirror anybody. I'm going, usually that's an oxymoron. Like, a guy can't mirror because he doesn't have quick feet. A guy can't mirror because he's not athletic enough. This guy is clearly athletic enough. It comes down to like his hands and his feet are not tied together. This is a bunch of clips where you don't see him lose, but this is why it was such hard film for me to watch, because there were so many clips that I was watching where he wasn't losing, where I went, that is not a good rep. Because at the next level, he's winning at this level because he's just such a raw, pure athlete.
Yep.
But at the next level, against the Myles Garretts of the world, against the Nick Bosa's of the world, against the Nick Bonitos of the world, he is going to get eaten alive by this stuff. And that's why then when he played UCF against Malachi Lawrence, which we'll take a look at some of that, and against Texas Tech, against David Bailey and Romello Height, he was absolutely eaten alive. Absolutely eaten alive. Because all of those things that he could make up for at the lower level against lesser competition became glaring deficiencies against NFL caliber talent. And that's my biggest concern. So what you're going to see here is he gets out here and he wins, but watch these hands. This is almost every rep of his. This is horrible hand technique. So the feet are choppy and quick, which can be good. It can also work against him because there's times he doesn't settle his feet, anchor, grab, and drive and block. So you see a lot of happy feet. You see these hands stay low. He keeps his hands low and he opens up his chest. It's like he's inviting the bull rush. And when a guy comes to engage, they get it into his chest and then he reaches around and grabs outside the frame. This is going to lead to a ton of holding calls at the NFL level. It is going to lead to every bull rusher you go against is going to eat you alive because you don't have the base to stand up against NFL caliber guys. He has this really strong base for college, but NFL, this is a huge problem. And it's something that he's probably never had to develop. And we're talking about erasing 8-9 years of what he's done with his hands and feet and trying to tie them together. That is a massive project. Here you see it. Just reaches out like a bear to bear hug these guys. And he's got the strong base to hold up against this guy, but that's not good technique at all. That's really poor. Here, same thing. Reach it out. You see him grab the outside of the arms. This is just play after play. You're going to see that same thing. Reach out and grab. Here, you can see like he almost loses this rep, but he's got such a strong base at the college level. He's able to stand up, but go against a better guy. That was one of Texas Tech guys who wasn't Romello Height or David Bailey. And here he is on the edge. Grab again outside the frame. And you see he loses the engagement pretty quickly because he grabs and then he's in danger of holding. So he's got to let go. And it becomes a problem over and over and over. That should be a hold. It's not. There were so many times I was like, golly, these should be holds. It's not being called. You just see it again. Get the happy feet out there, grabs outside the frame. Here it is, grabbing outside the frame. Over and over and over again. Very rarely did I ever see him get a guy inside and grab their chest plate. Like it just didn't happen. I could have picked over an hour of clips like that. It's just over and over again.
That's to me what the guy, because he's superior athletically and physically to a lot of these guys, and so it's like a quarterback that runs a lot. They're not necessarily good at reading a defense because they never had to do it. They always had an escape hatch that let them get off the hook without having to develop that part of their game. And now you're talking about, like you said, having to overwrite years of muscle memory. It's not impossible, but you got to get a lot of new muscle memory in a very, very short period of time. So that's a lot of extra reps he's going to have to go through.
Yes, and reps where he's not having to work against competition and working like I've got to perform at a certain level or I'm going to lose my job. Mm-hmm. Because when guys get into that mentality, it overwrites all of your work of rewriting things because they're just trying really hard. It's kind of like a golfer who, they work on a 75% swing all the time, and suddenly you're in a position where I've got to get a drive that's 15 yards farther than I normally have, or I'm really toast here. And suddenly you start swinging at 85% and the muscle memory of your mechanics go out the window. And that's what it's like for this guy. And what this leads to, what this poor footwork, these really bad hands, what it leads to is that he is a fast guy who gets beat by speed way too often, far too often. Because he doesn't get his feet settled, he doesn't time his hand punches, and he just ends up reaching out, leaning out, and gets beat by speed far too often for a guy of his speed. Like this should not happen near at the rate that it happened. And that's why he was such a concern for what he was, right? Like elite athletic traits. But when you start seeing guys grade him where he is, like this is a quintessential rep. I put this one in here twice and then ran it slow-mo so that we could look at it, because this is what I'm talking about as far as footwork issues, hand issues. We're going to run this at a quarter speed. So he's got a good kick step. I like the kick step. He gets out there with depth. It's explosive. He's able to then gather the next two steps. These steps are good, but he gets a little toesy then. After this point, meaning he starts chopping these feet so much, there's times where both feet are off the ground. And I don't know, I'm no expert in physics, but it's really hard to push against somebody and stop them when you have both feet off the ground. There's not a lot of anchor there. The other thing is, it's like he never times out. I'm going to punch with an inside hand. And so I'm going to anchor, stop, anchor, and tie my footwork into a punch to slow down this inside move. He's constantly chopping the feet, and the hands are just slow. And so he continues moving outward as David Bailey takes an inside move, and he just has no answer there. There's no, his hands are in the wrong spot. He's grabbing around the waist. It's just so many things wrong. So many things wrong. And I get it. It's David Bailey, and he beat a lot of guys, but he ate Enrique Cruz up in this game. Romello Height ate him up in this game. Like, I don't remember a pure one-on-one rep that Enrique Cruz had against either of those guys that he won in this game. Anytime he won, it was because he was getting a chip from a running back or help from his guard.
And so the best competition that he's faced is when he looked his worst, which is obviously not encouraging when he's going into the NFL, aka the toughest competition he's ever faced.
Exactly. It's just, I go, a lot of these deficiencies were masked at college by his athletic traits, but at the next level, he will not that will not be possible. I mean, you can see it here against Romello Height, the panic, the grab. I mean, you can see the ref reach for his flag. He got flagged for holding. This is against Malachi Lawrence on the other side. Same exact issue, like just grabbing outside, has no ability to get into a defender and stop the rush. This, I could play so many clips like this. It just became ad nauseum at a certain point of the poor hand technique. This is a mountain that is going to have to climb. Like, I don't see this as a 1-year project. I see this guy as a 2, 3, 4-year project.
Well, it looked like on some of those plays that he didn't really have a plan of attack. He was just trying to respond to whatever the rush did. And some of those, like, especially the speed rushes to the inside, he looked like he never thought that the defender might go to the inside on some of those. And he was just flailing at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was such weird tape to watch, because you're like, he doesn't lose all that often, but man, this technique is bad. And when you're trying to project to the NFL, like when you looked at Jaden Duggar, it was like, okay, he's raw in a lot of ways, but the traits can project. Like, there's a positive trend projection you can have with him. And even where he's at now, you go, okay, some of these things, not as much an issue now. He needs to add some weight. I can deal with that. When I look at Romello Height, I say, okay, the traits he showed in college, those project really well to the NFL. That's why he was a 3rd-round pick as a specialist pass rusher, as like a one job guy, which is a high. It's better than people would imagine. When you see Dejon Stribling, you say, okay, these traits translate immediately to the NFL. This is a guy where I go, the technical deficiencies are so sharp that his traits cannot translate to the NFL. Until he gets these traits, he will look like a guy that is slower than he is. He kind of reminds me of Nick Zakelj coming out. Nick Zakelj was very raw, really fast, good athletic traits. But what have we seen with Nick Zakelj? Nick Zakelj looks like he gets beat with quickness all the time. And he's a fast, quick guy. But he looks like he gets beat with quickness all the time because he's late on his punches. He's late with his hands. His footwork isn't great in a lot of places. He's been a project player. And I just feel like this is Nick Zakelj part 2.
Brett Davis, YouTube channel member, says, just join the stream. I would be depressed if I didn't know we were breaking down a project player. Now, first, we did start with the good. So if you just joined, there was some good that we got to. If you want a little bit of hope, it is that if you look at the 49ers history of drafting later round offensive linemen, those guys usually end up sticking around and playing in the NFL, whether it's, a Justin School. Colton McKivitz was a 5th-round pick in 2020, and obviously they just paid him, and he's been a much improved player throughout his NFL career. Jalen Moore obviously got a bag from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Zakelj was picked in 2022, and we're still really waiting for him to do everything, so it's not perfect. But Even Spencer Burford, 4th-round pick, ended up being a starter for the 49ers. A lot of the offensive linemen that they take late generally do at least make an NFL career out of it, where they don't just immediately wash out of the league, which is not something we could say for some of the running backs they picked earlier than that. So maybe that can give you a little bit of hope.
Yes, and I don't mean to be so down. It was just a situation where I go, golly, I mean, we're talking a lot of work that Foerster's got to put in. I think he's more physically gifted than Colton McKivitz, but he's got a bigger technical hill to climb. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility. And this is a boomer bust prospect to me. Mm-hmm. Like, if he booms, we're going to be sitting here talking about how genius they were for and how did the NFL let a guy who with these physical traits be there in the 5th round. And some people were projecting him to be undraftable. Like, that's what some of the draft projections had on him. There were some websites that didn't even do a write-up on him because they didn't think he was going to be drafted. And so, like, well, if he booms, people are going to sit there and go, man, they found a diamond in the rough. They did everything. If he doesn't work out, it's going to be, okay, Foerster can't develop guys. You know, they need to stop drafting projects because Foerster can't develop guys. We see both these things. I don't know. He's the one I have the least amount of, like, yeah, this could really turn out to be something. As far as the guys, I just worry about how far he's got to go technically.
I'm just throwing up on the screen the Beast, the Athletics draft guide. They had Cruz as a 6th rounder, but like you said, an interesting day 3 flyer, still green in many ways, but the 2025 tape was encouraging. And it does say he could be an interesting day 3 flyer for a team running a zone scheme. So yeah, you know, look, there'll be some work that needs to get put in. Not everybody comes in and starts right away. Maybe he'll end up being good. Maybe he'll wash out immediately. Only time will tell. But yet another thing to keep track of in the preseason. You know, I keep telling Michelle Mazik, who does our Friday show, I'm so excited to watch in this preseason because all these young guys are going to play because the Niners are going to protect all their veterans. So like Kalen Black's going to get a ton of run. We're going to get to see Jordan Watkins and Jacob Cowing and all this stuff. And Enrique Cruz will be part of that. And she always says, yeah, but even if they kick ass in the preseason, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And she's correct. But also, like, I just want reasons to be encouraged, man. That's all. I would rather these guys be good in the preseason than be bad, right?
100%. I mean, that's like, I don't personally, I don't fully understand like poo-pooing on a positive performance just because you say, well, we can't learn anything from it. Well, yeah, it's still better than getting your rear end kicked. Right. I mean, then you start hitting the panic button going, oh crap, if you can't even be good in the preseason, then this is really bad news. For me, what's really interesting, and I think will be fun for the people who've, you know, faithfully tuned in for our shows on these draft guys, and what I really hope people have, and this improves the fan experience, is you have a basis of where these guys are at now. I've tried to be really honest and straightforward about where they are at, their deficiencies and their upsides, and what things they've been good at. And if you want to watch them again before the preseason games, so you remember, okay, what did we see from Dejon Stribling, and what did we see from Romello Height? Because you're going to see those guys in preseason and say, okay, now I know what to look for with these guys. And it makes preseason more interesting for you because we're not paying attention to the scores. Like, it's preseason. Nobody cares about the scores. So if you're looking for what am I looking for? Why am I watching this game? You have things to watch for now. You can watch Enrique Cruz and instead of saying, okay, yeah, they ran really well off the right side, you can go, okay, he's against a 3rd round guy. Did that hand placement get better? Like, am I seeing him when he's coming through the screen? Is he grabbing outside the frame? Because if he is, I don't care that we burst out on a 25-yard run on his side. Mm-hmm. This is still a problem, and he's not there. If you see those things get better, you go, okay, wow, that's a huge positive movement to say this kid is ahead of schedule. Same with all the rookies. Like, you can see more, you have an idea of what you're looking for in each one of those, the things that we've seen as flags, the things we see as positives, and hopefully it improves the watching experience for people during preseason. So I love preseason now. Like, watching these guys come out of college, I'm excited to see them on the field. I want to see, this thing that I saw in college. Does it Do you continue to do that good thing? Have you improved on that bad thing? Is there a progression through preseason? I love watching preseason for that stuff, because for me, it's like I get to really just put the analyst hat on, and because I'm not emotionally tied to the outcome of the game. I'm not depressed for a week if we lose, but I just get to look at, okay, what are the goods, the bads, the ugly. We get to really analyze this, and it's fun.
And we're going to have that soon enough. We'll have rookie mini camp, obviously 9 days from now. There'll be even more stuff to talk about with these rookies. If you want to see us break something down, let us know. Drop it in the comments. I saw one wanted to see a Kyle Juszczyk blocking breakdown. He's an interesting player in my eyes, because I feel like no one sort of tracks his performance. Like, they like when he catches those couple passes, at least from fan perspective, I'm saying. Obviously the 49ers do. We like when he catches those passes. Every once in a while he'll get a carry in the goal line situation that drives me absolutely nuts. But other than that, it's just like, yeah, Juice is just sort of here. He's kind of like he's just around, and he's there for the vibes pretty much. So maybe we'll do the Kyle Juszczyk breakdown, but let us know in the comments below. And as I always tell you, for even more film breakdowns, check out the Johnny Dale Football Academy on YouTube. It is a paradise for football fanatics. Check out the Johnny Dale Football Academy merch store. As you're seeing, Johnny's got the hat on right now, JDFA. That is a good looking hat. I do appreciate it. But thank you as always, Johnny. You make us better, smarter fans. Thank you to everybody as well, all our gold ticket members, all our YouTube channel members. We appreciate each and every one of you. You've taken over the stream now, because there's so many of you. We can't fit you on the ticker, so you get your own overlay. But thank you, everybody. Like this video, hype this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you next week.